Bright afternoon, everyone. I'm Diane Angel P. Octoso, and we are the Group 3. And today, we were going to tackle about a world of ideas, the global media. One of the fuel, consequences, and manifestation of globalization is the flow of culture from one geographical area to another. This topic will direct its attention to explaining the diffusion of culture from one place to another, with the media being the tool for the spread of virus culture. This will also context of media culture itself and talk upon media and Filipinos. So the first one is culture. Culture is basically how people live their lives, how we present ourselves, make choices, connect with others, and go after what we want. So ang culture guys, amo ni siya kung paano mag-represent aton self. Paano mag-make choices nga i-connecta sa others. Then, ang amo ni siya ang mga bagay nga ginhimo nila, ang mga pangabuhian nila nga ginapasa nila sa mas next nga generation. So, one of the example of material culture sa clothes is ang barong Tagalog. Amo siyang sa lalaki. Kung ang sa babae naman is Filipiniana, para sa babae na siya. Meron man traditional nga mga gamit like ang habol, like ang punda. Kung sa mga gusali naman, ang isa sa mga example is ang mga sinaunang simbahan. Then, ang mga bahay na bato. Ang mga sinang-una nga mga gusali nga ara pa kag pwede pa malagawan subong is one of the example of material culture. Ang mga lokal na produkto naman like ang panig na gawa sa pandan, mga paso ng luwad at mga delicacies like ang lapas batchoy at pansit molo nga kilala sa Iloilo. And the second one is non-material culture. The ideas we value, like beliefs, traditions, and the ways of doing things. So one of the example of the material culture is ang wika at simbolo. Like sa wikang Hiligaynon, ang Ilonggo, ang ginagamit sa Iloilo, mga simbolo like ang litrato ng Santo Niño na important tigid sa mga Pilipino or sa mga Katolik. Isa pod ka example, ang pagiging malambing, ang mapagbigay sa mga bisita, pagpapahalaga sa pamilya kag sa mga tigulang or mga matatanda. So isa man sa example sa di-material culture or non-material culture is ang paniniwala or ang pagpati sa mga katutubong alamat o mga kwento ng engkanto kag ang mga ritual. Isa na sa mga example. Sa gawi kag tradisyon naman, ang fiesta nga gina-celebrate nila like sa amon ang festa nga gina-celebrate namon is Dinagsa Festival. Sa Iloilo Dinagyang Festival. Ginahiwat namon every January. Also ang paghiwat sa mga birthday, kasal, libing or ang pagtipon-tipon sang pamilya kag mga friends, ang pagmamano sa mga matigulang nagapakita respect. One of the example of the material or non-material culture. Ang paggamit sang po kag opo is one of the example of non-material culture. Ang pagsunod sa batas ng lipunan kag ang mga tuntunin sa pamilya, sa pagiging marespeto. Culture is shared through symbol and language so people can communicate. It sins in what we think is good, what we believe is true, how we act, and the rules we follow as part of a society.
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Resto Mituda and I'm gonna report the continuation of cultures. We humans are curious of cultures. We learn culture from our home and our communities through direct instruction from our parents, through observation and participation in community affairs. Later on, when we go out and interact with people from other cultures, we experience a different cultures. One tendency is for us to interpret the other culture using our own frame of mind and negotiate which aspect of these cultures align with ours. For some, they adopt the certain values and practices of the new cultures to a lesser degree, such as that we may tend to adopt the new cultures only when we are in public, in larger degree such that we begin to resemble the people in the other group. The same process tends to be experienced by the other people we come and to interact with. It means that people carry and pass culture from one generation to another. Cultures includes in our traditions, beliefs, language, values, and ways of behaving. We first learn our culture at home and in our community. Our parents, family members, and people around us teach us how to behave in what tradition Then, when we go outside our home on our community, meet people from other groups, we begin to experience a new different cultures, um, these sharings of ideas, traditions, and practices between the groups is called cultural exchange. When we see another cultures, we usually understand and or judge it based on our own beliefs and experience. We try to decide which parts of the cultures we are similar to ours and accepted to us. Some people still start adopt the certain values, behaviors, or tradition of the new cultures, and each process called ocularism. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Bernadette Alvinada and I will be discussing globalization and culture. First, ang globalization nga naga-facilitate ang sharing of ideas, attitudes, and values across natural borders. Meaning, tungod sa globalization, mas nagadamo ang contact sa mga tao kagila cultures, halin sa lain-lain nga countries. So, bangod sini nga interaction, ang mga tao nag-share sang ila ideas, values, kag ways of life sa isa kag isa. Makita ini sa globalization of lifestyles, knowledge, and technologies nga ginagamit na subong sa bilog nga kalibutan. So, ang meaning nga cultural flows ginagamit para i-describe ang movement or flow sang culture sa panahon sang globalization. So, buo silingon, ang culture parehas sang ideas, traditions, beliefs, kag practices nga naga-move halin sa isa ka country pakadto sa iban. Second, global cultural flows can be viewed in different ways. One perspective is cultural differentialism. Ini nga idea nagasiling nga kada kultura unique gid kag may sila own nga identity kag hindi ini basta-basta maapektuhan sang iban nga culture bisan may globalization. So meaning, may mga barriers or protections ang culture nga naga-shield sa ila halin sa external influence. Halimbawa, sini amo ang religious beliefs, traditions, kag ideologies nga ginapatihan sa mga tawo sa isa ka society. So, in simple explanation, bisan naga-connect ang kalibutan tungod sa globalization, ang iban nga culture padayon gihapon nga nagapabilin nga lain kag ginaprotektahan nila ang ila kaugalingon nga beliefs kag ila nga practices. Third is another view is cultural hybridization. So ini nga idea, it says nga ang global kag local cultures naga-interact kag naga-combine sa isa kag isa tungod sa globalization. Kung ang external influences halin sa iban nga culture mag-meet sa local nga traditions kag practices, naga-create ni sila sang bag-o nga combination sang culture.
Good day everyone, I am Litrago Jason Q, and today I want to discuss about the Apadurai's concept of scape. So according to Arjun Apadurai, globalization can be understood through different types of global cultures flow, which he called scape. These scapes describe how people, technology, ideas, money, and media move across countries and influence cultures around the world. And there are five scape. The first scape is the ethnoscape. Ethnoscape refers to the movement of people across different countries and regions. Because of globalizations, people travel, migrate, and work in different parts of the world. This movement of people changed the connect of cultures. Examples is the overseas Filipino workers or OFWs working in other countries, tourists traveling internationally, students studying abroad, and immigrants moving to another country. Through ethnoscapes, cultures mix because people bring their traditions, language, and lifestyle to new places. Second is the mediascape. Mediascape refers to the flow of information, an image through media and technology. Today, media allows people to see and experience cultures from different parts of the world even without traveling. Example is the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google. Through these platforms, people can watch foreign movies, listen to international music, and learn about other culture. The third is the technoscape. Technoscape refers to the global movement of technology, machines, and digital systems. Technology spreads quickly across countries, allowing people to access the latest innovations. Examples: new smartphones and computers, softwares applications, advanced machines used in industries, and communication technologies. Technoscapes help societies become more connected and technologically advanced. Fourth is the financescape. Financescape refers to the movement of money and financial resources around the world. Global financial institutions' investment influence economies across different countries. Examples: the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, International Trade and Investment, global stock market. These financial flows affect economic development and global business. Fifth and the last scape is the ageiscape. Refers to the spread of political ideas, values, and ideologies across countries. Through globalization, political beliefs and systems can influence other societies. Examples: federalism, communism, socialism, democracy, human rights as ideas. These political ideas can shape government policies and social movements worldwide. Cultural interaction and globalization. Even though different cultures interact through these global flows, they do always clash or conflicts. Instead, they often combine and influence each other. Localization is the process where global and local cultures blend together to create something new. This means global ideas are adapted to fit local traditions and practices. Example: international brands adjust their products to local tastes, and global music mixed with local styles. This creates a hybrid culture that is unique. Cultural convergence. Another perspective of globalization is cultural convergence. This means that cultures around the world are become more similar or homogeneous because people consume the same media, products, and ideas. Over time, societies may begin to share similar lifestyles and cultural practices. Cultural imperialism. According to John Tomlinson, one related concept is cultural imperialism. This happens when a dominant culture intentionally or unintentionally imposes its values, beliefs, and practices on other culture. Example: powerful countries influencing the media, lifestyle, and consumer behavior of other nations. And let's move on and tackle the territorialization. Another concept is the territorialization. This means that culture is no longer limited to the place where it originally came from. Because of migration, media, and globalization, cultural practices can spread and exist anywhere in the world. Example: foreign food, music, or traditions becoming popular in other countries. That's all. Thank you.
Bright afternoon, everyone. I am Judea Maningo from Group 3, and I will discuss media and cultures. So, according to Jack Lull, globalization is difficult to define because it includes many processes such as movement of people. For example, mga OFWs travel sa ibang nga country to work, and also mga people travel for business, and of course for experience, and also ang mga nang migrate nga mga people from one country to another. Of course, the ideas, culture, and technology. And media is easier to understand because it simply refers to a tool of channel used to share information or message with others. He also explained that the connection between media and globalization developed through five important eras. And this era shows how communication evolved over time and helped spread ideas across different places in the world. And he also articulated that the intersection between globalization and media can be captured in five distinct eras. And the first one is oral communication. In the earliest form of communication, where people shared stories, news, and knowledge by speaking and listening. And the information spread through conversation, storytelling, and public speeches. The second one is script or the writing era. In this era, people began writing message and record using symbols and letters. Writing allowed information to be preserved and shared beyond face-to-face communication. And the third one is printing press. The invention of the printing press allowed books, newspaper, and documents to be produced in large numbers. This helped spread knowledge faster to many people around the world. The fourth one is electronic media. This era includes technologies like radio and television that allowed information to reach large audience quickly through electronic signals that can reach all over the world. And the fifth one is digital media. This is the modern era that includes the internet, social media, smartphones, and online platforms. Information can now be shared instantly around the world, making globalization faster and more connected. And now, media is the tool to communicate. And throughout history, it has evolved from spoken communication to digital technology. Each stage helps us people share information more widely, which also help globalization grow and connect different parts of the world. He opined that globalization could have been unimaginable if media is unavailable. It means that globalization would not exist or spread easily without media. Media helps people and countries share information quickly around the world. Because of media, businesses can trade internationally in economic. Different cultures can share ideas, music, movies, and tradition in cultural, and government can communicate and cooperate in political, and media plays an important role in making globalization possible and helping it grow. In the book Understanding Media and Culture, The Social Theory and Mass Communication by Nick Stevenson, he explained why he used the term media and cultures. The first one is media spreads modern culture. Stevenson said that many parts of modern culture, like news, entertainment, and ideas, are shared through mass media. Because of this, media and culture are closely connected. The second one is media should be studied with culture. To understand media theories and ideas better, we also need to look at the culture and society where those ideas were created. And the last one is ideas about media develop over time. Stevenson also said that we need to study the history of ideas and discussion between scholars to fully understand the relationship between media and cultures. That's why Stevenson used the term media cultures because media and cultures influence each other and cannot be separated from studying society.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaylord Noble and I am one of the discussants of this group. I am here to conclude the understanding of media and cultures. In recent years, data have shown that digital media is mostly and commonly used for young people. According to the 2018 Pew Research Center study, um, it found that 95% of the US teens and had their smartphones and nearly half were online almost constantly. They were not just scrolling aimlessly, but instead they use those social platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram to connect with their friends, catch up on news, and following entertainments, and also expressing themselves. In short, social media or digital media is not just a tool for them. It's where much of their social life and identity play out.
Good day everyone. Today I will discuss the issues in media culture in the Philippines. Filipinos love watching movies and it is a big part of our entertainment and culture. However, the Philippine movie industry faces several challenges such as economic pressure, lack of cultural policies, the growth of digital media, and the movie privacy. These issues affects the development of local films. Despite these challenges, media still has a strong influence, especially on Filipino youth. According to Lanosa 2003, mass media helps shape youth culture and influence how people respond to social expectation, what they consume, how they form groups, and how they participate in cultural activities. Media plays an important role in shaping the attitudes, behavior, and culture of the Filipino youth today. Thank you.
Filipinos are active consumers of different forms of media. A 2016 study showed that although newspapers reading declined, about 96% of Filipinos watch television, spending almost 4 hours daily watching their favorite programs. So, these studies also found that digital media consumption increased because of better internet access. In 2019, in a study, Filipinos were identified as the top users of social media in the world, spending over 10 hours online each day, which is the higher than a global average of 6 hours and 42 minutes. This also spend more than 5 hours daily using the internet on computers, compared to the global average of 3 hours and 28 minutes. This shows that the media and the internet plays an important role in daily lives of Filipinos.
So, bright morning everyone. So today, I will discuss the remaining two issues of media and culture. Inclusion and participations refers to how different groups of people are represented in media such as television, movies, news, and social media. It focuses on whether people from different backgrounds are shown fairly and given equal opportunities to be seen and heard. Media should represent women, LGBTQ+, instead of showing stereotype or negative portrayals. Media should promote dignity, equality, and human rights. It also helps create a more inclusive society where everyone feels represented and valued. Cultural integrity refers to how media represent and influence cultures, especially local traditions and values. When media has the power to shape how people understand their own culture and the culture of others. By showing authentic traditions, language, belief, and practices, media can help preserve cultural identity and promote pride in local traditions. Culture integrity ensures that while media spreads global ideas, it still respects and protects the uniqueness of local culture.
My name is Jericho Pamatian, and today we will discussing the issue in media cultures. In the age of globalizations, there are few issues to address: access, production and consumption, inclusion and participation, and cultural integrity. But we will discuss the access, production, and consumption. First, access. One of me asks who has access to media. It is something that everyone who needs it can get hold of it. My answer is no, because not everyone has equal to access to media. Or are there only few groups of people who has access to it because of certain socio-economic advantages? When we say socio-economic, factors to determine who can easily access it and who faces barriers. If they have access, what is the quality of access they have? Can they access it easily, or do they encounter difficulties that the others typically do not? So, it is quality of access varies. Some enjoy fast, reliable access, while others struggles. And if they don't have access, what is the state doing to level this concern and access? And what is their power to change the situation? The government play the role in addressing inequalities and ensuring broader access. So, the next one is production and consumption. One of may ask, what media contents are made available for consumption? Media content is shaped by decisions about what to produce and what to exclude. Who decides what to produce and not to produce? What cultures are being conveyed in the media content? The most powerful groups or institutions open to control what messages and cultures are conveyed. So the media, who controls what they convey and how? The media influences identity, what people consume shapes, and how they see themselves and the world. And the last one is the identity and consumption of media are interlinked. You are what you consume. The consumption patterns reflect our cultural values, but also raise the questions about diversity and representation. That's it.
So to wrap everything up, we can see that culture isn't something that stays still. It's always moving and changing because of globalization. Think of a panorama like a giant web. When we use TikTok or Facebook, which is our mediascape, we aren't just looking at apps. We are participating in a global exchange of ideas and values. For us here in the Philippines, this is a huge because we spend more than online than almost anyone else in the world. This means our culture is being mediatized, our fashion, the way we talk, and even our traditions are being influenced by what we see on screens. But the takeaways here isn't that always losing our identity. It's about localization. We take global influence and mix it with our own Pinoy flavor. The challenge for us moving forward is to make sure that anyone has fair access to these platforms and that our true Filipino values don't get lost in the noise of the global digital space. In conclusion, the intersection of cultural globalization and media creates a dynamic landscape where the local and global are constantly in flux. While globalization can lead to cultural convergence and homogenizations of societies, the emergence of cultural hybridization and localization proves that local identities remain resilient. Media acts as the essential vehicles for these escapes, from the movement of people to the flow of digital culture. However, as the Philippines remain a global leader in social media consumption, we must remain critical of issues regarding access, representation, and cultural integrity to ensure that our digital engagement empowers rather than diminishes our local heritage.